Determining the correct conductor size for a 200 amp underground electrical service involves several key considerations, including the ampacity of the conductors, the applicable codes and standards, and the specific installation conditions. Let's break down the process step by step. Firstly, the ampacity of the conductors must be sufficient to carry the 200 amps of the service. Ampacity refers to the current carrying capacity of a conductor without exceeding its temperature rating. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides tables that specify the ampacity of various conductors based on their material, size, insulation type, and installation method. Secondly, for a 200 amp service, you would typically need conductors with an ampacity of at least 200 amps. However, it's crucial to consult the NEC to determine the exact requirements for your specific situation. Table 310.15 B16, formerly known as Table 310.16, in the NEC is commonly used to determine the ampacity of conductors. This table provides ampacity values for conductors based on their insulation type and the ambient temperature. Thirdly, when selecting conductors for an underground service, you need to consider the wet location rating of the insulation. Underground installations are typically considered wet locations, so the conductors must be suitable for use in wet environments. Insulation types such as THWN, THHN/THWN-2, or XHHW are commonly used for underground service conductors because they are moisture resistant. Fourthly, the size of the conductor is typically expressed in American wire gauge, or in circular mils for larger conductors. The larger the AWG number, the smaller the conductor. For example, a number 12 AWG conductor is smaller than a number 10 AWG conductor. Conversely, as the AWG number decreases, the conductor size increases. For instance, a number 1 AWG conductor is larger than a number 2 AWG conductor. Fifthly, to determine the appropriate conductor size for a 200 amp service, you would typically start by looking at Table 310.15 B16 in the NEC. This table will show the ampacity of different conductor sizes based on their insulation type and temperature rating. For example, if you are using copper conductors with THWN insulation and a 75 degrees Celsius temperature rating, you would need to select a conductor size that has an ampacity of at least 200 amps. Sixthly, according to NEC Table 310.15 B16, for a 200 amp service using copper conductors with a 75 degrees Celsius insulation rating, such as THWN, you would typically need at least a 3/0 AWG copper conductor. A 3/0 AWG copper conductor with THWN insulation typically has an ampacity of 200 amps at 75 degrees Celsius. Seventhly, if you are using aluminum conductors, the conductor size will typically need to be larger than copper conductors to achieve the same ampacity. This is because aluminum has a lower conductivity than copper. For example, to achieve an ampacity of 200 amps with aluminum conductors and THWN insulation at 75 degrees Celsius, you would typically need a 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor. Eighthly, it's important to note that the NEC allows for the use of the 75 degrees Celsius column in Table 310.15 B16 for determining conductor ampacity for most applications. However, you should always check the equipment terminations to ensure that they are rated for at least 75 degrees Celsius. If the terminations are only rated for 60 degrees Celsius, you must use the 60 degrees Celsius column in the table, which will require a larger conductor size. Ninthly, in addition to the ungrounded conductors, you also need to consider the size of the neutral conductor. The NEC allows for the neutral conductor to be smaller than the ungrounded conductors in some cases, depending on the load characteristics. However, the neutral conductor must be sized to carry the maximum unbalanced load. Tenthly, for a 200 amp service, the neutral conductor is typically sized based on the calculated neutral load, as per NEC section 220.61. This section provides guidelines for calculating the neutral load for various types of occupancies. 11thly, It is also important to consider voltage drop when selecting conductor sizes, especially for long underground runs. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction and can also reduce the efficiency of the electrical system. 12thly, the NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to no more than 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders and services. To calculate voltage drop, you can use a voltage drop calculator or consult NEC Chapter 9, Example 9. 13thly, if the voltage drop is excessive for a given conductor size, you may need to increase the conductor size to reduce the resistance and minimize voltage drop. 14thly, in addition to the conductor size, you also need to select the appropriate type of conduit for the underground service. Conduit protects the conductors from physical damage and moisture. Common types of conduit used for underground services include rigid metal conduit, or RMC, intermediate metal conduit, or IMC, rigid polyvinyl chloride conduit, or PVC, and electrical metallic tubing, or IMT, encased in concrete. 15thly, the type of conduit you choose will depend on the specific installation conditions and local codes. RMC and IMC are typically used in areas where there is a risk of physical damage, while PVC is often used in corrosive environments. EMT is generally not approved for underground use unless it is encased in concrete. 16thly, when installing underground service conductors, it's important to follow all applicable codes and regulations. This includes burying the conduit at the proper depth, using approved fittings and connectors, and properly grounding the system. 17thly, the NEC specifies the minimum burial depth for underground service conductors in Table 300.5. The required depth depends on the voltage of the service and the type of raceway used. For example, for a 200 amp service at 120/240 volts, the minimum burial depth for RMC or IMC is typically 12 inches, while the minimum burial depth for PVC is typically 18 inches. 18thly, grounding is a critical aspect of electrical safety. The grounding system provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip circuit breakers or fuses and prevent electrical shock. The grounding system must be properly installed and maintained to ensure its effectiveness. 19thly, the NEC requires that all electrical services be grounded. The grounding electrode system typically consists of a ground rod, a ground ring, or a metal water pipe that is in direct contact with the earth for at least 10 feet. 20thly, the grounding electrode conductor connects the grounding electrode to the service equipment. The size of the grounding electrode conductor is based on the size of the service entrance conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.66. 21stly, for a 200 amp service, the grounding electrode conductor is typically a number 6 AWG copper conductor or number 4 AWG aluminum conductor. However, it's important to consult Table 250.66 in the NEC to determine the exact requirements for your specific situation. 22ndly, in addition to the grounding electrode conductor, you also need to install a bonding jumper to bond the service equipment to the grounded neutral conductor. The bonding jumper ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, which helps to prevent electrical shock. 23rdly, the size of the bonding jumper is based on the size of the service entrance conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.102. Seat 1. The bonding jumper is typically a copper or aluminum conductor. 24thly, before installing any electrical wiring, it's important to obtain the necessary permits and inspections from your local building department. Permits ensure that the work is done in accordance with applicable codes and regulations, and inspections help to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant. 25thly, in summary, determining the correct conductor size for a 200 amp underground electrical service involves several key steps. Firstly, determine the ampacity required for the 200 amp service. Secondly, consult NEC Table 310.15. 16. To determine the appropriate conductor size based on the conductor material, insulation type, and temperature rating. Thirdly, consider the wet location rating of the insulation for underground installations. Fourthly, account for voltage drop. especially for long underground runs. Fifthly, select the appropriate type of conduit for the underground service. Sixthly, ensure proper grounding of the electrical system. Seventhly, obtain the necessary permits and inspections from your local building department. By following these steps and consulting the NEC, you can ensure that your 200 amp underground electrical service is safe, compliant, and reliable.